Hi, beautiful people. Ooh, I have some tea. My name is Alecia Renece, and I'm so happy that you are here. All right. I'm drinking throat coat and turmeric tea to start my morning off. But I want to talk to you about a song that I wrote. So I recently wrote a song called 9 to 5, and I shared it with you all. And it's a song about wage slavery and escaping capitalism. I think we're all a bit tired of capitalism and like late stage capitalism. We're all exhausted. And so I wrote a song called 9 to 5. And it's a song about wage slavery and escaping capitalism or being a fugitive of capitalism. But I do want to start off this video. Hi, little bird. It's a little bird outside my window. I want to pull out this card and read this for you. I am not a machine. I am a divine being. I can rest. I am not a machine. I am a divine being. I can rest. So shout out to Trisha Hersey. She is the creator and the founder of the Nat Ministry, and she also has a book called Rest is Resistance. But she also came out with a rest deck, 50 Practices to Resist Grind Culture. And I'll put the link for that in my description so that you can check it out if you would like to. But this card, I am not a machine, I am a divine being, I can rest, is very important for our conversation today about wage slavery and capitalism. So I wrote a song. I wrote a song called 9 to 5. Where I'm basically lamenting about what it is to exist in a world that says we're free and says that, anything is possible. This is the land where dreams come true. You realize that it's not true for everybody. You realize that we are under what is called wage slavery, a lot of us. What is wage slavery? Wage slavery basically, and this is my paraphrase version, but I also have some downloaded definitions. But the way that I understand wage slavery is that basically you are stuck in a job, at a job that you don't want to be in, that you don't want to work at, right? Because you don't have the funds to be able to go to a different job or to take a break, right? You're almost at risk all the time of being unemployed, not having healthcare benefits, right? Not having retirement when you get older, right? It's this trap that they put us in. These golden handcuffs, so to speak, right? Where we're employed, we have a job, but we are either underpaid or overworked, or we just don't like what we're doing, right? And so people are working, but they are stuck. And so that is the idea behind wage slavery. And so there's this chart that I want to show you. I'll put it on the video. But basically it's a 4-quadrant chart. So this on the side is like, don't like, do it for free or get paid to do it, right? So when you like something and you get paid to do it, it is a dream job, right? When you like something and you do it for free, it's a hobby. When you don't like something and it's for free, it's drudgery, right? But when you don't like something and you're paid for it, it is wage slavery. Something else I want to read is from Psychology Today. Being a wage slave means you're stuck at a job solely for the money. You can't quit because leaving would be terrible consequences for you and your family. For example, in America, leaving your job not only means a loss of income, but can also mean losing your healthcare coverage as well. So even though they say this is the land of opportunity and choice, it's really not. It's the illusion of choice. Like, we have the illusion of choice. Then when people say simple things like, oh, well, just go back to school and get an education to make more money, we should not have to do that. I am of the belief that whether you're working at McDonald's or the boardroom, both people should be able to pay for a whole life and some. That's my belief. We can get to a conversation about people who think that there are such things as low-skilled jobs. We'll talk about that later because that's not a thing. That's made up. That's a made-up measurement to determine who gets to be a wage slave and who doesn't, right? And so a lot of the jobs that are caretaking or that are serving other people are seen as less than because it's literally mirrored off of enslavement, right? Paying people the least for the best services. That's what capitalism is about. So if you're working at the grocery store, right? Groceries are really important to human life. Most of us don't live on a farm or near it, right? We need the Giant. We need the Kroger or whatever store is near you, right? But these people at those places get paid little money to sustain life for most of the humans in their metropolitan area, right? But they're looked down on. They're stuck in this place. They are wage slaves because they either don't have enough money to go to the next place or they can't risk it. It's risky. So I wrote a song called 9 to 5 to talk about that experience. And I really enjoyed it. And to my pleasure, a lot of you all are resonating with it as well. A lot of you all have also picked up on things about the song that I'm going to get into soon. But it's a lamenting song. It's a song that is tired. It's about a person, me specifically, but a lot of us who are working 9 to 5 just to stay alive. Like the lyrics of the first line are, working hard from 9 to 5 to put food on my table and stay alive. And that is the depressing part about being a wage slave, is that you only have enough for like just enough, and maybe even just enough, right? When I was working at a lot of other jobs, I lived with my mother, and I also live in the DMV area. So that's, for context, it's very expensive here. But I lived with my mother, and I could not afford to live on my own. I could not afford to have a car to be able to drive to my job and to live on my own, right? Like I was stuck. I was stuck where I was. I also didn't have credentials to be able to do much else, right? And then to get the credentials, I have to pay to go to school. So if I don't have money for the normal every day-to-day things, and school is unattainable, right? School is inaccessible for me because I don't have the coin. I'm not getting grants, right? They want me to take out more loans. I'm going to feel stuck at my 9 to 5 job, and I was. So essentially, what inspired the song? Capitalism, okay? Ghetto capitalism, wage slavery, just hearing the complaints, the dreams, the hopes of me and my friends, and how a lot of us feel hopeless because we don't have the money. We don't have the access. We don't come from well-to-do families. Our families did the best that they could, right? And sometimes that's not enough to be able to survive in this system. So being poor, that was my experience. Low-key, I still am in the impoverished arena, right? As far as pay goes, but being poor. I went to school for human services, and anybody who works in human services know it's not really a lot of money out in human services. So occupational therapy, and then you have also like these other careers in human services where you need further education, which requires more money. So just hearing my friends like wanting to make a difference, having these dreams in their hearts, but like being faced with reality, that it seems like not everybody gets to pursue their dream, right? That pursuing your dream is a privileged opportunity. It's a privileged experience. And that also makes sense as to why there are so many people who are on the ground who see the harm that's being done to underpaid people, but because they have been put in a position, not just like they have positioned themselves, it's a system at work, right? It's a system that keeps people underpaid and suppressed, right? Because if I'm a company and I'm making a lot of money, I don't want to pay you a lot of money because that gives you options, right? I'm trying to keep you wanting, keep you connected to me, keep your healthcare coverage connected to working for me, right? So that you stay at my job and you go nowhere else. Like that is basically what these companies are doing. They're not necessarily concerned about treating you well or giving you perks to stay. They're more interested in creating scarcity so that you're afraid to leave and so that you will stay and take crumbs when you deserve way more. You know, they keep you disempowered on purpose. So that's what inspired the song. So I said being poor and overworked, making enough to maintain and not much else. That's another thing. We do a lot of victim blaming poor people. The truth is a lot of us don't like poor people and we're afraid to say that. And I wish that y'all would just say that. Y'all don't like poor people. You think that being poor is a crime. You think that people who are impoverished or experiencing poverty have somehow done something wrong, when it's not them, it's the systems. We should not be living in a world that sees us as a machine, right? We should not be living in a world where these jobs think that they own us. For example, at some jobs, you're not even allowed to start your own side business. You're not allowed to create anything. And if you do create something, they own it. Tell me what that is. Please tell me what that is besides slavery. So there are elements of the song that I'm very proud of and I really want to talk about. So work songs. So the feel of 9 to 5 is a work song. Work songs were songs that were created on the plantation with enslaved Africans, our ancestors, to help lift the spirits, to keep time, to be able to work. So you would have like a call and response, which is also coming from the African continent, right? The West African countries or the West African culture. Like call and response is big. We see it in churches, right? Even like on songs we love. So you know that song, shout, 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 right? There's a part where it's like, hey, they respond, hey, right? And go back and forth, hey, hey, right? You go back and forth. And so work songs were sung on plantations to keep the morale up, keep the timing up, but also it was used to communicate, to make fun of, to mock their enslavers. So right up under their nose, yeah, like they think that they're singing the songs like to, get the work done, sure, but they're also dragging y'all, and I love that for us. So you'll hear different songs. Sam Cooke has a song called Chain Gang. That's the sound of the man working on the chain gang, right? And so like they're, right? It's like a rhythm beating down the stakes into the railroad, right? The chain gang. It's the same, or beating rocks, breaking rocks in half, right? Just like drudgery, just labor, just enslavement, doing things that are hard, but trying to use music as a soundtrack to lift the spirits, but to also like, again, like communicate to one another, So 9 to 5 definitely has elements of that. And I'll put the link describing more about work songs, but it definitely has elements of that. So usually with work songs, there's a person this is my like musical geek bag, but there's a person who is leading the song. You'll hear it in church. There might be the person who sings the bylines, or if you're ever in church, I don't know if y'all had this experience where they're reading and responding. Somebody will read the bolded letters and everybody responds. You read the bolded letters, everybody responds. It's a similar situation. You're storytelling, you're giving anecdotes, and again, you're communicating to one another under their nose. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation. That's the whole point. It's a conversation. We all out here working and calling and responding to one another, dragging our enslavers, right? Talking about how tired we are, talking about the great by and by, but also communicating messages to one another, right? We can also see this within gospel, blues, and music today. So we do a lot of call and response without even realizing we're doing it. But like I said, that hey, hey, that's the call and response. It's communicating. I see you. Like, I feel you. I feel you on this thing. So usually there's a person who leads the call and response. So the call and response for me, the call is working hard from 9 to 5 to put food on my table and stay alive. And that repeats. Then the next person responds, I am tired. I am tired. It's exhausting. Labor is exhausting. Capitalism is exhausting. It's draining. It literally exhausts. It takes everything out of everything. It sucks it dry. It wrings. It's like a wrung towel. You're tying it to like drain it of all of its resources to the last drop. Like that's what happens to people within capitalism. Like you start out from the middle. It's like, okay, there's a lot here. Let's juice this, right? Let's juice this towel. I don't know. Let's juice this towel, or an orange. Let's go with an orange. Let's juice this orange. Then you get to the pulp and you realize we have literally drained everyone to a pulp. Where we are now, like people are burned out. People are tired. We have nothing left, honey. We're exhausted. What more do you want from us? You feel me? Like, cause you can't get it. And people are tired. And I feel like we have reached the end of that towel or the end of that orange, right? And so everybody, there's like a global refrain of like, I am tired, I am exhausted. And yet and still, I still got to show up. And I still got to show face. And I still have to be productive and all these other things, right? So the response is, I am tired, working hard, right? It's almost like the avatar of us. Like we're working hard from 9 to 5 to put food on our table and stay alive. But the back thought is like, I am so tired. I am so exhausted. I am so tired. Then the next line is, right? The thing is like, we're tired, but none of that matters because you can't have a breakdown. Okay. You can't have a breakdown because you're too broke. I made a journal entry and I'll read it to y'all at a different time. But basically when you're poor, you have no room to have an emotional breakdown. You have no room to quit. You have no room. Like that is wage slavery, right? Like they take the choice away from you. You have no room unless you've acquired days to go on vacation, to take a sabbatical, right? Like jobs don't honor the humanity of people. Jobs don't honor that people get tired. People are people. People were not here to work. Like, we weren't put on this earth to work. We work to live. But we have now changed society to be like, you live to work. Like, your whole being is here to make me money. That's how companies look at us, whether we're the consumer or the person working for them. They're all concerned about the bottom dollar, not life itself. Not life itself. And if they were concerned with life, they'd be thoughtful in how they create their products, how they treat the earth, how they treat their employees, because employees are the earth, they are nature. But they don't care. They do not care. The next line, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. Like, you know them kids who be crying at daycare? Like, I want to go home. That's how I be feeling at these jobs. And I feel like that's how a lot of us be feeling. I just want to go home, honey. And I also think it's echoing back to our ancestors on plantations, right? They were singing the same refrain, I want to go home. Home for them was either freedom, and by freedom, I mean even the great by and by. Like, a lot of enslaved people were like, I can't wait to die. A lot of people right now are like, I can't wait to die. Because this is ghetto. Right? Like, I don't know what this is, but this ain't it. And so we crave for a home. We crave for freedom. We crave for what our bodies and our soul was put here for. What we were put here to do, right? Like, we crave these things because we know that we're human and we're nature, and we know that this is not natural. This is not okay. This is not okay. So I want to go home, like a cry for home for our parents. When do we get to live? Between exhaustion and desperation. And affording a home, like a house, is expensive. The Upgrade, Kiki, shout out to her. She made a video about how hard it is to find a home. So everything is gentrified at this point. Everything, like when I say capitalism has like wrung the towel, like everything is expensive. So an apartment, we're just moving, so that's why everything's a mess. Welcome. We moved into an apartment. It took forever to find one because people were trying to raise the rent to be able to pay for the people who were backlogged with their rent. So they were using us to pay for the money they lost in running a business, right? But they'll tell us that that's the cost of running business. But they're looking at us, the poor people, to make the money. That's why I'm not really down for landlordship. We'll talk about that at a different time. But anyway, housing is expensive. So not only is it hard to find an apartment, right? It's hard to qualify for a house, for a loan for a house. But then also the alternatives, car camping, living in an RV. At some point, living in an RV was seen as like trailer trash. Like, it was like deplorable. It was embarrassing. My husband and I were RVing full time a few years ago. And like, you realize by traveling, like, wow, like this is a privilege for people now. Traveling in general, but especially like traveling on the road, is a privilege. They've also taken tiny houses and made them so expensive as regular houses. Like, it's a privilege to be housed in this country when housing should be standard, period. Quality housing too. Clean housing, safe housing. I don't understand why we're making the things that humans need a moneymaker. It feels cheap to me. It feels like it's exploiting people because it is. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so everything is expensive. Trying to find a home is expensive, and they're making homelessness illegal. No loitering on benches. It is so cruel. They put apparatuses on the benches so that people can't lay down. Like, being exhausted and tired is illegal in this country. It's evil. It's evil. And then the next line is got a long way to go, right? Retirement, a long way to go. Okay? I don't even know. I'm a millennial. I don't know if my generation or beyond, and maybe even some Gen X, I don't know if we finna have no retirement. I don't know. All them things that the baby boomers got and before them, the pension, the retirement, I don't know if we're going to have any of those things because they have wrung the towel dry. Their greed has destroyed and consumed everything. Everything. So for us folks, Gen X and beyond, like, what is the future looking like? It is so scary. Looking at the future is so scary. It's scary because we don't know what's going to happen. Like, people are telling us to be responsible and to save for a rainy day and save for retirement. We don't even know what that's going to look like right now, right? Look at the prices of housing. It has doubled in like 4 years. It has doubled. I don't even know how much I'm supposed to save for. You know, like, what am I supposed to anticipate? I have no idea because I don't know what y'all finna do. Because y'all is greedy. You know what I'm saying? And we always got to be working hard. to make rank at a livable wage. Like we work so hard just to be able to enjoy bonuses or, I don't know, raises, right? We have to go above and beyond to even be qualified for a raise. And it's not like the raise is going to be anything significant. And for the most part, the raise is going to be like a gold star. Like, here you go. I'm so insulted. A 50-cent raise that Uncle Sam is just going to eat up. What I'm going to do with that? Right? It's insulting. It's insulting. Long day, right? Like, so long way to go. When we start our days on Sunday, let's be real, Sunday scaries. We talked about this before. Dr. Kimani has talked about this on this channel. We did an interview, and I'll put the link for that interview down at the description. But like Sunday, really the only day that we get free is Saturday. And Saturday we do everything: cooking, cleaning, shopping, visiting friends, hanging out. And then Sunday we prepare for Monday, right? So our weekends are not even ours. And Friday you're just leaving your job. So like you really have no time to really be yourself, to be your own. And so when you start on Sunday, it's a long way to go. Like, golly, this week is finna be long. It's Tuesday. I wish it was Friday, right? And that anxiety that we feel on Sunday, that's scary. The Sunday scaries. The anxiety we feel is because we know we have so long to go. We know what awaits us on Monday morning or evening, whatever time you work, right? Like, we know what awaits us. We know that we have to be here to make money. And they know that if we had a choice, we would not be here. But they don't give us a choice because they're enslavers. They're enslavers. I'm going to call it the thing. But then also, like, I think back, talking about the work song and about our ancestors in enslavement, under enslavement, and how for them, like in 1619, how far away 2024 was to them. How far away freedom was for them, right? Got so long to go. And even when we get here to, desegregation, liberation in quotes with an asterisk, right? When we get here, we still have a long way to go. Negroes are still calling us DEI to be clever, and it's not clever, because they want to call us the N-word, right? Like, we still have so long to go. And it's exhausting. It's tiring. And then the end, right? So the lead of the work songs, the call and response songs, the person who leads those songs are allowed to improvise. Like, there are rules to music, right? And not saying that like, oh, if you don't do this, then no, because there's always somebody on the side harmonizing or something. But like, for this conversation, the person who usually leads the songs improvise. Improvisation is a big part of Black music. And so at the end of the song, I basically just like lamented. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to survive. And I just kept repeating that over and over again. So creating the song was very cathartic for me. And at the time, I didn't even realize that I was making a work song. But it actually makes sense. It's almost like, I don't believe in any coincidences, right? But as I'm making it, I was like, you know what? This song sounds like something that somebody would be hoeing to, or as in like taking the hoe and, this would be something that somebody would be breaking rocks to, right? And it connects the story of all of us, because at some point, all of us, Black, like this thread with Black folks in this country, have felt that at some point. Exhausted, tired, exploited, overlooked, overworked, undersupported, right? Stuck. A limit put on us. You can only go so far. The phrases that we say that we should put down, right? I have to work twice as hard to get half as far. We don't say that as an affirmation. We say that from experience. You feel me? Like, that phrase came from experience. It's not manifestation or like, oh, don't say it, because no, like, we say it because that has been our experience here in the US, right? And so because we know that, it's like, dag on, I'm just trying to survive. Like, it's almost like an angry, empty, desperate cry. Like, I don't want to wait to the great by and by to be happy. I don't want to wait, until retirement to be able to live my life. And luckily there are people online today talking about how to live your life and not wait for retirement, or not, depend on these jobs that actually don't like you or love you or care about your well-being overall. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so the last part, just trying to survive. Improvisation, right? But we're just tired, exhausted, exploited, and ridiculed. So for the call and response, more about the actual structure of the song, right? It's a dialogue. We all out here working and calling and responding to one another. I see you working. We get on the bus. We see people exhausted and tired and frustrated going to their job anxious and like preparing their souls and their spirits to be around people who suck the life out of them. We see people on their way home, right? The bus driver, the person working the metro, the person pushing the stroller, looking out my window right now, the landscaper. Like, we're all, it's almost like we're all in wage slavery together, and we're just kind of like looking at each other, being supported by one another, almost like, and I see you. Going back to enslavement, drums were actually banned on a lot of plantations because drums are a big deal to us. Drums are ancestral, they're spiritual, whatever. They know that. So they banned drums, right? So, and this is like a music geek things I want to share with you. So the drums were banned, but they would use their tools and their bodies as instruments of rhythm, right? And working, like keeping the rhythm. Working hard, bam, from 9 to 5, bam, put food on my table, bam, and stay alive. I want to go home, right? Like, that's the work song. It's a work song. It says work songs were used to increase production and to escape monotony and boredom. They were also used to communicate messages, and they were also used to lift spirits, right? So there were codes. There were codes in these songs. They could communicate right under their enslavers' nose, right? They mock them for their oppression. Love that about us. Expressing anger, escaping dreams, right? Plans to run away. In a lot of songs and even quilts, there are maps, like following like the North Star. Like, that's something that we have not forgotten. And a lot of those things were said in song and in creation. Not saying it made it better, because it didn't. They're still enslaved. But for a moment, we could be together singing songs, being honest with one another. So that's the story behind 9 to 5. I'm going to read this one more time. I am not a machine. You are not a machine. You are a divine being. You can rest. And that may cost you. And you might have to get creative. But don't forget your divinity. Don't let them allow you to forget your own divinity. You never needed their permission to love yourself, to be free. Their structures are evil, but you are divine, you are beautiful, you're enough, and you deserve freedom. There is one more thing I want to share with you before we close, and these are 2 other rest deck cards. So the first one is Welcome to the Dream Space. Another world is possible. And that's kind of where I am with it. I think that we feel stuck, because systems have created us to make us feel stuck. But if we actually reach down, if we actually just took a moment, and I understand that rest is a privilege. It is. Like, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Rest is a necessity. Rest is as important as breathing is. But our rest has been robbed from us, right? So we have to reclaim it for ourselves. But another world is possible. There is another possibility where people don't have to be wage slaves. There's another way possible. We just got to get creative. And another thing I want to share is I'm a fugitive from grind culture. To be a fugitive is to break free. Now, this is important to me because I do feel like I'm a fugitive from grind culture, capitalism, white supremacy, all the things, right? Just like just violence. Like, we're all fugitives in this land, and we're all just trying to get along. But I want to be free. And the back of the card says, become a fugitive from oppressive grind culture. Begin to embrace being an outlier. Be an outlier. You can be in this world, but not of this world. Embody rest as the foundation for your deepest imaginings. Each individual thought focused on rest is powerful. Together, our thoughts can begin to dismantle grind culture. We can free ourselves via rest. We can collaborate with our bodies, our ancestors, and our souls. And this song felt like a collaboration with my ancestors and the souls of everyone else. We are tired. We are tired of being wage slaves. We see what's really going on. And right now we might be exhausted, but when we get our rest, we finna fight back and create a new world, because a new world is possible. All right, I will talk to you all in the next video. Until next time, later. Keep loving yourselves. Love each other. We're gonna make it. Working hard from 9 to 5 to put food on my table and stay alive. Working hard from 9 to 5 to put food on my table and stay alive. Working hard. I am 9 to 5 to put food on my table and stay alive. Tired. and stay up. Got a long way to go. Working hard from 9 to got a long way to go. On my table and stay up. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. 9 to 5 to just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Alive. Just trying to survive. 9 to 5 to just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. Trying to survive. Got a long way to go. I am 9 to got a long way to go on my table. I am stay up. Got a long way to go. I am 9 to got a long way to go on my table. I am stay up. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. I am stay. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying on my table. I am stay. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying. I am survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying. I am survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying. To survive. Got a long way to go. Trying to survive. Got a long way just trying. To survive. Got a long way to go. 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 Got a long